All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the HardBody Chronicle. Thanks again for joining me on this journey so far. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers. It goes a long way to my end goal of just kind of spreading myself, my business, kind of the weird way I think, but overall just spreading positivity across the internet. Via YouTube, at least for now. So thank you. Blessings to all of you for subscribing. It really does mean a lot, and I appreciate every one of you who tuned in. So thank you. Just I think right now the biggest thing that's happened to me is that I turned 35 years old. So in honor of myself, I kind of wanted to do like a kind of like a retrospective of myself and where I'm at, or at least where I think I'm at. I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of do an actual assessment, almost like a performance review of how I've done so far. Just personally, really, that's kind of the biggest thing. But because I did downplay my birthday a lot. I'm always down to celebrate, but when it comes to celebrating me, I don't really care. It's not that big a deal to me. I'm not any more special than any of you out there. So I don't know, just being the focus of attention sometimes isn't. It's not what you would think that. It's not something I would like necessarily. I don't want to be the main focus of anything or a celebration. It's just me being weird and awkward. But that isn't to say that I don't appreciate all the love that I get during my birthday. I really do enjoy spending time with friends and family, and just that's really the main thing. It's just a chance to get together, hang out, have fun, break bread with your family. To me, that's important. And for me, I cherish the chance to do that. Take a step back from all the shit that we got going on and just hang out and have fun and just have good times overall. So it's impossible to get to everyone, especially with COVID. That kind of fucked everything up. So maybe next year, whenever we celebrate, we can actually go to a bar and get a drink. The simple things. But yeah, thanks to all of you, all the birthday wishes that were sent to me via text, social media. Thank you. I love all of you. So hopefully we can all get together next year and really throw down. So yeah, like I was saying, 35. It's pretty fucking old. That's what. Yeah, I'm just thinking, it's like, dang, that's a pretty good amount of life that is taking place. And I'm just thinking, one thing that my boss at a previous job always told me is that around their 30s, that life goes by super fast, and you kind of blink and 10 years have passed. And now that I'm 35, I definitely see what they were talking about. A lot of time has passed since. I think the way I think of things, it's like post high school, right? That's kind of when, I wouldn't say your life starts, but it's kind of when you start to figure out what kind of person you're going to be. And I think high school is kind of like a good starting point. And for me, when I'm thinking back of my life and whatnot, that is kind of a pivotal point, because that's when I right after high school, I got into UW. did the whole college experience while living at home, which is interesting in and of itself. But I think that's kind of when I started piecing things together. I was still a weirdo. I'm still a weirdo now, but I didn't have the confidence behind it that I do now, and I didn't have the confidence in myself, and I hadn't really refined how I was going to be as a person, how I wanted to portray myself to people out and about in the real world. Because in high school I wasn't popular. I knew a lot of people, and I kind of went between cliques. So I always kind of had an in with different people, whether it was some of the popular kids, some of the nerdier kids. Like I always kind of was in there. So I think that gave me a pretty good overall viewpoint of things, and maybe how to approach people and how to talk to people going forward outside of high school. So it definitely helped. Not really trying to be in any specific clique, at least in high school. So I wasn't emotionally attached to any particular group, and I could just kind of pick and choose who I wanted to hang out with. Because I've always been like that. I'm not really. I kind of like doing my own thing, but I hang out with all sorts of people, different backgrounds, and so that's kind of how I like to play things. Don't really like just sticking with necessarily with one group and just only seeing those people when I do any kind of social activity. So yeah, that's kind of like I was saying. Sorry for the tangent, but I feel like that's kind of a pivotal point, at least for me, into how I developed into how I am today. So yeah, like after college, working, pretty much having a full-time job during college, and actually being so young too. That's kind of one thing that um, I guess it's an advantage being young, but being considered a professional. You definitely get to learn, and you adapt to what works and what doesn't in whatever organization you end up working for. I mean, I've been pretty good at that. I can kind of, I'm not a social butterfly, but I can definitely put on a face. I can code switch, as they say, a lot, because my white skin projects me a certain way, even though my background and growing up were different than what you think they were. So it's always, and that in and of itself is a whole. That's a few podcasts that I could talk about my whiteness, but my Latino second generation background. So I don't want to get too much into that, but um, what I want to say is that I kind of knowing how to navigate different people, different groups, and especially professionally, getting an idea of how people want you to work or how to communicate. That goes a long way, and how people treat you, and how far you can get in any organization, and kind of work your way up the ranks. So um, yeah, so I think I want to first start off with the good and the bad of where I'm at least where what I this little assessment that I did on myself. I'm going to start with the bad, because there's nothing wrong with being honest about where you're at and what things you can work on. Although now that I'm looking at this list, uh, it's not that bad. I think what's going on is I'm suffering from success. That's how good I've had it in life. I'm not going to front, like, um, but I mean, I'll talk about that. So the bad, start with that. I think the biggest thing right now for me is I don't have any kids. Um, lineage to me is important, but I think sharing my knowledge, my viewpoints, and kind of all the stuff that I know, I can still pass it along to not necessarily my kids, but I can do it through YouTube. Like right now, what I'm doing, I can share knowledge with friends. So there's many ways to kind of put myself out there and my ideas out there, to that I would hope benefit people. um, but I think just kids, I think is something that I don't have yet. Obviously, you need a partner to do that, so I can't just make them out of thin air, unfortunately. So yeah, that's definitely one big one, and one that I think my parents would, I appreciate that I start working on. But I can probably talk about that a little later, but I'm just not there yet. One kind of financial thing, I could have probably had a house by now, but um, still need to save up a little more for that. And there's a few years where I wasn't as frugal as I could have been, for a number of reasons. Kind of the living situation and relationship status back then was a little different. So that definitely affected kind of how I spent my money. But um, honestly, it's kind of double-edged sword. Like I don't have any kids, and it's just me. So like, why do I need a house? Right? Like it's just kind of excessive. Um, it'd be cool for all the projects and stuff that I'm into. I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, like this is super selfish of me, but yeah, it's like when I think of getting a house, it's not because I want kids. It's just I want to do more shit in that house. So, have gaming sessions or whatever, or do my screen printing like in an actual garage. That'd be tight. Just have more space to do the things that I want to do. So that's my viewpoint. I know it's kind of, I don't think it's childish. I just think it's being real. I mean, like, look, I just buy a house. I'm going to do all this tight shit in that house. Like, that's it. Right. So, thankfully, I'm blessed that I do have my own place right now. It's just small, but for the most part, people still want to come over and kick it. So I'm not really tripping over that. So, we still have plenty of good times here. And I live right next to Dick's, so we get some burgers right after the fact. And so we're straight. I mean, it's all good. Um, so yeah, let's see. What other thing? So I haven't really. I don't think I've finalized my career trajectory. I think I'm in the right place right now. Um, I'm younger than all my counterparts in terms of management and whatnot, but I think for me, I'm just never satisfied. So it definitely, I'm always kind of updating my resume just in case. And like I said, right now, it just doesn't seem like this is my last job, even though I've been there a while. But I've moved up. Like I haven't been stagnant. Um, I think back in, when was it? Back around 2012, I believe. Yeah, 2012. I actually got turned down for a promotion. Well, not a promotion, but there was a vacant position that was a higher level. Um, I didn't get it. One of my other coworkers at the time got it, and I was kind of like, I had to I had to really take um, I had to take an honest view of where I was, and I wasn't necessarily happy. I didn't want to do that kind of job. I didn't want to be like a hands-on tech. Like I don't want to be a higher level tech. I was kind of over touching other people's keyboards and troubleshooting their problems in Outlook. So um, I went and got my master's, and with the hopes of being more of a managerial type person. And 2 years later, graduated, got my MBA, and then about, what was it? Maybe 2 years after that, I actually did end up getting an actual managerial position in IT, which is an awesome blessing. And it's given me the chance to really hone my skills. So I think even though I have made progress, it's not where I want it to be yet. There's several factors. Maybe just not the. Maybe it's there's going to come a time where it's going to be time for me to move on from that organization, just to keep pushing myself, because I think it's easy, and I've been there a long time. I've been there about 10 years or so in different positions, including the one that I'm in now. But it is pretty comfortable. I'm not going to lie. My commute's awesome. Quality of life is probably as high as I'm ever going to have it. So that makes it difficult to really risk going somewhere else and not knowing how that's going to play out. But we'll see. I mean, I could probably retire there if I wanted to, but again, with people like me, it's kind of hard to just leave if there's nothing necessarily wrong with what I'm doing, other than the fact that I just want to be challenged. That is why I would leave. So I'm still open to that idea. And thing is, with the pandemic, it's kind of hard to say how that's going to all play out. I think a lot of companies out there, both in the public and private sector, they're kind of reorganizing how they work. I mean, now that we know that a lot of people can't work from home, there's a lot of positions that may or may not be needed anymore. There's a lot of office space that's maybe not needed anymore. So a lot of companies are really going to start to see how they can move forward and what kind of adjustments they can make to help out their bottom line. And so it's definitely going to affect a lot of jobs and how people did their jobs. So that'll be kind of interesting to see later on. But for now, I think I'm good. But like I said, it's probably not my final job for the time being. At least that's how I see it. Maybe I can come back to this podcast 10 years from now and see, oh, look, you didn't do shit. But um, I'm always down to see what else is out there. But I can't lie. I really do like my job and the way we're set up and the quality of life. I think that's kind of a trade-off. You may not make as much in these kind of jobs, but the fact that I can work 40 hours and be done with it is better than having that much more money, at least to me. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Um, Speaking of which, kind of related to not having kids, I've probably let my parents down a lot just by not doing my duties as a son. With not having kids, really not giving them much to I haven't really, I haven't brought them a good partner. I haven't gotten kids or even out of wedlock. Like, it's just I'm just around and I'm just there to help them out. but I haven't brought much back to them. So sorry, parents. But I think just, at least for me, and a lot of other kids that were like me, who were kids of immigrants, there's this. We have this. I think we all have this obligation to our parents to give them every single thing they expect of us, because they did sacrifice a lot to come to the U.S. and provide for us a better life that we would have had elsewhere, whether that's Mexico or anywhere else that you immigrate from. I haven't lost sight of that, but a lot of the pressures that a lot of kids like me have, I don't really pay any attention to. I mean, I don't really. Yeah, would it be cool to get my parents some grandkids? Yeah, I would like for that. I would like that for them before they're too old. But at the same time, I don't want to give up my stability or my happiness to appease my parents, because I think what a parent should be concerned with is to make sure that their kids are fine and that they're happy. That's like, that really should be it. It shouldn't be whether they bring you a grandkid. Um, and I've said that to my parents before. I say it all the time, actually. um, and I think part of it too is just that, I don't know. I feel like if my parents were in my situation, they would be doing the same thing that I'm doing. I'm pretty sure of that. They wouldn't have kids either. Like, fuck it, we're just gonna have fun or whatever and just do our thing. And if something comes up, cool. Um, so, um, I mean, I don't forget I owe my parents a lot. That's a given, and I will always take care of my parents. I will be there in good health, bad health, doesn't matter. I'm going to be there. I'm going to take care of them no matter what. And I hope they understand that. And I think they do. I've said it a lot, but I don't know how much of that. They're hard headed like me. That's where I get it from. So I hope they understand that I'm living my best life and I want to continue to live my best life. Um, and I just want them to know that I'm working my best to be happy. And that's all that should matter. Uh, and they'll be taken care of. And if I have grandkids, or if I give them grandkids, cool. If not, cool. Also, like, it's not, that shouldn't be the be all end all of our happiness. So, um, yeah. So I think I'm old enough to know what works for me, and I can kind of strategize how I want my life to go from here on out. So I just hope that my parents would understand that. Um, they did a good job in raising me. Um, they probably did too good a job because I'm pretty fucking. Um, I feel like I'm pretty capable and somewhat dangerous. So I'll be all right. That's that's the main thing right there. And my parents will be all right as long as I'm around. So I know I don't have the kids or anything, but whatever happens, happens. At the end of the day, it's happiness. That should be the first priority for your children. And if I have kids, that's the same thing that I would want for them. I would want my kids to, um, be the best, or, try their best at everything that they're interested in. Um, I wish they have the best relationships with their partners and whatnot. That's really all I can do for my kid. I wouldn't expect them, I wouldn't hand them out like a checklist of things that I need them to do for me. I just feel like, um, the more you pressure a kid, the more they rebel. And I wouldn't want to be that kind of parent. Kind of knowing now how I work or how my brain functions, I think I could maybe hopefully raise some fairly competent children. So we'll see. Hopefully that comes. I don't know. But um, in the meantime, parents, I'm happy. I love you. And I will always take care of you. So don't worry. Um, yeah, sorry. Kind of went off on a tangent, but it's still on my list. So anyways, kind of going back to what I was saying about professionally, I don't think I've reached my full potential. Um, I think it's more of a long-term process. There's still things that I'm learning. Um, I mean, I think this is going to sound cliche, but I really would like to get to the point where I could be both 100% happy and also 100% independent and sustain myself doing something that I truly love. Um, it's cliche. It's obvious. Obviously, everyone would want to be able to do that. I'm still trying to get to that point. Whether it happens, I hope so. I don't know yet, but I'm definitely gonna fucking try as hard as possible to be sustainable financially. Um, whether it's through t-shirts or whatever the fuck, I don't know. This podcast, life coaching, church, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. You will see. We will grow together. We'll figure this out to get me, um, to be financially sustainable independently. That's the goal. I'm still working on it. So we'll see. So now I'm going to take a look at the list of the good that I've done for myself. So I alluded to this in my previous podcast. I think the last 10 years of my life were kind of a very long and drawn out ego death where I've kind of rebuilt myself and what it is that I want out of life. What really does matter in life has changed. I think before I was super just money driven. I think that was the main goal. And honestly, money to me is it's great. Everyone wants money, obviously, but money is freedom. So if you have enough of it, then you can pursue what you want to pursue, and that's really all I'm trying to do. And it's no longer getting to a certain number in my bank account or anything like that, or even how much I make in my job. It's kind of just really just being at peace with myself and where I'm at and being okay with myself. I think that's the most growth that I've done, to where I am happy with who I am as a person. I'm happy with the relationships that I have and that I've kept and I've tried to work on. I'm blessed by all of that. So yeah, with a straight face, I can say that I'm happy with myself, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've come to terms with. I've never been more relaxed in my life. I think I feel like I've gone through enough um, and seen enough to really not be surprised by anything. So I can really keep a straight head, and just be chill a lot of the time. I don't freak out, both with personal stuff or professionally. I stay calm as fuck. Like you're not really gonna see me freak out ever at work. And it's not just because I'm a manager or anything like that. It's just that um, a lot of shit's really not that important. It's like your computer doesn't work. All right, we'll take a look. We'll see what's up. I mean, we'll get you another one. Big deal. I mean, that's just really. I mean, a lot of people let the littlest things get to them and fuck up their day or the week or their month or whatever. And honestly, some things aren't that important and it's not even worth stressing over. So I'm not going to do it. You shouldn't either too. I mean, um, so yeah, I really do pride myself in maintaining a very level approach to a lot of things in life. And I'm going to keep doing that because it goes a long way. I mean, if you can, when you freak out and you stress, that is when you make mistakes. If you can keep a level head in a tense situation, you'll come out on top every time. I guarantee it. So yeah, tied in with that, I know myself. I know I can kind of have a good understanding of what I'm good at. I know what I'm not that good at, um, and whatever across the board, professionally, uh, um, romantically, spiritually. Like I know kind of where I want to be at and where I need to be at in order to be my best version of myself. And I think that just kind of overall, I think all of this kind of all these things that I'm listing off, they're all just leading towards just having a balanced approach to things and life in general. Um, I always have a certain way of doing things, and I kind of like keeping things not that I'm a control freak or anything, but I do like keeping things a certain way. Because that's if one thing's out of whack, then it kind of fucks everything up, right? I like having all the pieces of the puzzle where they need to be at, for me to function correctly. So I know that about myself. So all this stuff that I'm talking about keeps me fairly balanced, and I know myself well enough now to know, like, if something's off kilter, that I got to fix that and adjust it so that I can kind of move on and proceed in the correct way. So yeah, that's really, if there's any takeaway from this, it is, having a balanced approach to things is the best way to go about it. Uh, I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, just being balanced and giving everything enough time to to play out, and not rush things, and just kind of, sometimes you just let things happen and you just go from there, because not everything's ever going to be under your control, and there's no point in stressing out about it, until it directly affects you. Then you address it, but otherwise there's too much shit going on in the world, too many bad things going on for me to really stress over things that don't really matter in the long run. um, and everyone has their thing that, pisses them off, but um, and that's okay. But I think, and I would say, face it head on, deal with it, and then move on to the next thing. And that's kind of how I approach a lot of the craziness in my life, both professionally, personally, and all that. So, uh, yeah. So let's see what else. Oh yeah. I mean, uh, I think once you're in your 30s, something happens to your body where either you make some changes, or you just stay a certain way, and your body just kind of says, fuck it, we're done. Like, so thankfully I've been very rigorous with my routine in general in terms of fitness, and it's paid off. um, I mean, a lot of 35-year-olds don't look like me, and I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just how it is. So I'm happy that I still look the way that I do. More importantly, I'm pretty fit. Like, I don't I'm kind of, I know I'm not ripped or jacked or anything like that, but we can go running 5 miles right now, and it'll be no sweat. Like, that's easy. Um, so um, I'm very fortunate that I have a good gym next to me, a good group of guys that I can train with, and also uh, blessed that I have a cool neighborhood to run through and get some of my road work done there. So um, yeah, I mean, I feel like maintaining a good, healthy-ish lifestyle goes a long way, just in general. It just benefits you. Like, there's no downside to staying healthy and fit. Like, it's right. Like, it's just, you look better, you feel better, um, keeps you younger. I mean, it's just good all around, and I think it's really important to incorporate that. And I think what happens is a lot of people my age, they just stop for all kinds of reasons. Work, family, kids. I mean, it's hard. Like, I would say you almost need a certain level of affluence to work out, right? Like, you gotta have kids and, like, go to the gym. I mean, it's someone's gotta watch them and all. It's just hard. And I've been there, done that. So, um, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm doing anything better than anyone else, but I've just managed to prioritize certain things, and fitness is definitely one that I've tried to be super consistent with, and I think it's paid off. And I'm hoping, really, I don't want to, like, I'm hoping that by the time I'm 60 or 70 or whatever, I'm still somewhat uh, strong, I guess. I don't know what else. I don't know. I just don't want to be hobbling around when I'm older. That's pretty much it. Um, I mean, right now this is my physical prime, so I'm trying to take advantage of it as much as I can. But just trying to circumvent certain health issues that could pop up later because I made shitty decisions now. So that's the biggest thing for me. It's not necessarily my vanity, although it's part of it. But yeah, mostly just I want to avoid certain health issues later on in life. Yeah, it reminds me when I went to one of my wedding's cousins down in Mexico. I was hanging out with another cousin like before the wedding. And we're just chilling, drinking and shit. And he goes, "So how old are you?" And at the time, well, I was 34. And I said, "Yeah, I'm 34." I was like, and he goes, "Man, people that are 34 here, they don't look like you." So like, hey, I mean, I know life's hard, but you got to make some time for yourself to take care of yourself. That's key. So let's see what else. One good, I mean, another good thing. I think I've got a super solid, um, both family and circle of friends. Um, I've kept good people in my life, and I cherish those relationships, and I try to maintain them as much as I can. I know I could do a little better in reaching out to people, but so that's probably something that I could work on. But for the most part, the people that I do have in my life are part of the reason why I've done so well, and I'm forever blessed that they were in my life and kept me honest and motivating me to work hard and to work hard for the things that are important for me. So uh, blessings to all my friends and family because you are uh, a big part of why I am the way that I am, and I love all of you for that. So let's see. Last but not least, I think it's probably one of the more important things, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to this 10 years from now. So we'll see as I watch back these episodes, or maybe I'm still doing them. I don't know. We'll see. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm still hungry. I'm still trying to eat. Like I'm always scheming and looking for things to do, um, things that I can learn. I mean, this whole hard body thing was just kind of something that I picked up on just because I was curious, right? Like, I'm like, how the fuck do you make shirts? How do you print them? And I'm like, oh, well, I'll fucking learn it and did it and now have all the equipment for it. But then part of that is kind of the design aspect too. Like, I've always had a pirated copy of Photoshop, but I never really knew how to actually use it. Now I'm doing, now I'm working in Illustrator and Photoshop and picking up concepts of designs and actually studying the materials. Like, I mean, I'm definitely, um, I'm still, my brain is still thirsty for knowledge, and I'm trying to feed it as much as I can with the time that I have. And so, like I said, I'm still very industrious. I still have drive to kind of learn skills, improve on myself. So to me, that's like the biggest thing. Like if I was just kind of, if I was satisfied with everything, I don't know. I'm not not that there's anything wrong with actually being satisfied, but I don't know. Maybe I just hold myself to like a really high standard. Like I was saying earlier, I just don't think I've reached my full potential, and I at least got to try. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I at least got to try some of the shit out. If all this fails miserably, it crashes and burns, that's fine. I can at least say I gave it a shot. I gave it my best, and I have no regrets because a lot of people are just too afraid to fail. For me, I have no shame in my game. I don't give a fuck. I'll try shit out. If I look dumb in the process, that's cool. But you know what? I put myself out there. and I wasn't scared to do so. So, yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying shit out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And yeah, just gonna keep going forward. So that's kind of my performance review of myself as a 35-year-old. Sounds kind of weird to say that out loud now that I'm thinking about it, but um, these are the facts. This is where I'm at, and yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I can add to that list? I'm trying to think. If there's something else, like if I could talk to my 25-year-old self, what would I say? Hmm. I would say, you know what, man? I mean, I would just say don't listen to anyone and do what you want to do. I think around that time in my life, I wasn't, I don't think I was as motivated, and I think I was just kind of burned out um, with my job at the time. I wasn't, things just had maybe just gotten stopped. They had stopped being exciting, and I wasn't really getting uh, anywhere as far ahead as I wanted to. Um, so yeah, maybe I should have gotten my master's a little sooner, or something like that. But you know what? I mean, I honestly can't complain though. I think I'm doing pretty fucking good. Uh, things could be a lot worse. There's yeah. I mean, just I've had a blessed life. I had parents that provided such a strong foundation for me and such stability that most people probably don't even get. Um, um, and yeah, I mean that goes such a long way. Just when things, when you don't have to worry about food not being on the table, and you have a roof over your head, and you have parents that aren't trying to kill each other all the fucking time, and they treat their kids with respect. Um, I mean that goes super far. You can't ask for anything better than that. So shout outs to my parents. I love you. Shout outs to all the good parents out there that are busting their ass to provide for the kids. That shit's hard, yeah, but it's worth it. So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, I think I would. What else? I mean, I would tell my 25-year-old self just to put yourself out there a little more, kind of like the way, because I mean, 25 is still pretty fucking young, but it's kind of when you're getting over, you're gonna be old. It's like you're heading towards 30, and at 30, you should already have a good idea of what you're trying to do. So I think in terms of where I was at that time, I was headed in the right direction, but maybe I could have put myself out there a little more. Maybe got my master's a little sooner. Um, maybe found some other hobbies or um, yeah. I think at that time I wasn't even like working out for real like the way I am now. So yeah, there was a lot of things that I kind of dabbled in them, but I wasn't committed the way I should have been. But thankfully, I picked it up around my 30s. No, kind of, yeah, after UW, and then actually working. And so, yeah, that's kind of around the time a little bit after I graduated college. So I think what had happened then, I was just I just got in this condo, and I think I was just kind of fucking around just because I could. Um, and that's important to do. You got to kind of get that out of your system at some point. But yeah, like I mean, I don't really regret anything back then. Um, yeah, I think I did okay. I did okay. So yeah, I mean, again, blessings upon blessings for me. I can't say that enough. I mean, statistically, a lot of Latino men aren't doing so hot when they're my age. Like, I don't even know, like, barely any of us get into college, let alone graduate. Um, yeah, like our numbers are still super low. Yeah, 15% of Hispanics or Latinos actually graduate with a bachelor's. So, yeah, I mean, I did all right. I think I'll keep being all right. So I'm pretty proud of that. Um, that isn't to say that didn't benefit from white privilege because I look super white. I do acknowledge that. I feel like that also had a big part in how I could kind of talk to people or how they approach me. Like, that's a whole nother topic though. But anyways, enough about me. Um, moving on. UFC 254 took place. Uh, everyone was super hyped about this fight. Um, Habib is an interesting guy. He's super religious. He kind of does his own thing. He doesn't really give a fuck about social media or appeasing anyone. Um, and he's super dominant in his fights. The way he handled McGregor was pretty impressive because no one had ever done that to McGregor. He choked him out. And in this fight, Gaethje, um, good wrestler, good hands. Uh, but I think he kind of gassed himself. He was throwing bombs like the whole time. And it makes sense. He was just going to throw everything at him with the hopes of knocking out Khabib, but that didn't work out. And see, it ended in the second round via mounted triangle. So that's how dominant Khabib is. Mounted triangles, you only do that, and speaking as a somewhat decent grappler, you only do that on someone who you know you can do it on, or who you know has no answer for anything that you're doing. You just impose yourself on them. So um, Habib just took him down. Um, he always does like a low single, gets you on the fence, wraps both legs, gets you down, starts crawling over you, gets in the mount, and then this guy fucking gets a high mount, and then I knew immediately what he was doing because he switched his hips a little bit. I was like, oh shit, he's going for a triangle, and lo and behold, that's what happened. Triangle from mount, turns around, sinks it in. I looked like Gaethje was trying to slam him, but um, usually when someone, well, this is a weird thing in grappling competitions. Slamming like a power bomb is illegal. So I think by habit, most people, if they're in that situation, they don't. Their first instinct isn't to power bomb. It's just kind of to try to like shimmy out of it. Because the problem is once you put them back down on the ground, that little adjustment is enough for the person on bottom to tighten up the triangle, and that's exactly what happened. So I was hoping Gaethje would slam him just because it'd be tight, but um, Habib had a pretty secure triangle already, and when Gaethje lifted him, put him back down on the mat, it was a wrap because Habib had enough room to tighten up, grab the shin, close the triangle, and just tap him out. And yeah, I mean it's super dominant. I don't know. I don't. Habib retired after the fact. I don't know. But even if he wasn't retired, I don't know who he would fight. The only fight left in that weight class is Tony Ferguson. But Ferguson lost to Gaethje, which is why Gaethje was fighting for the title. So I don't know. It's a shame if he is actually retired. It's a shame. I'd be curious to see him just kind of tear through maybe go up in weight or something like that, because I know that weight cut is pretty hard for him. It'd be a good test, but we'll see. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with him, but yeah, I honestly I don't know what else. That was like the biggest fight of the year, I think. So it's a good way to end the pandemic series of fights on Fight Island. So yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not much analysis for that fight. It ended in the second round, so um, yeah, we'll see. I'm not really sure what else is left. I mean, yeah, I mean, they're saying there's talks about him fighting GSP, but GSP hasn't fought in I don't know how many years. So I don't know why that's such an appealing fight. I don't know. Maybe just former pound for pound versus the current pound for pound, and that's about it. But we'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up because I feel like this took a while. Again, thanks to all you for sending the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And I just want to say, everybody, whatever you're going through, hang in there. Blessings to you and all your families, and I'll catch you later.